of course I went to Hogwarts. Don't you know who I am? I'm a descendant of Godric Gryffindor. Can't you? Of course I went to Hogwarts. It might be hard for you to tell with my mother being Sirius Black, although not that hard, as the first in his family to be a Gryffindor. He obviously he wasn't the descendant, he obviously married the descendant, James Potter, who is a descendant of Gryffindor. Not a lot of people know that. I did tell my ex about this, Dobby. Dobby went and spilled it to everyone, which is why we broke up. Such a gossip is Dobby. First Lucius and the whole Chamber of Secrets plan, and now my heritage. But my best friend was there for me through the breakup. Lucius, we obviously have that shared history with Dobby, both fuming at Dobby being gossip. Lucius has taught me through my complex feelings about Cedric. He says he's dead, get over your crush, and I say I can't. I didn't get closure. Finally, in my 20s, I got my Hogwarts acceptance letter. My mum was thrilled. Lily Potter, she was a little bit dead, but she was mostly thrilled for me. I went to the grave, I just got that feeling from her. And my dad, James, was also really happy for me. I mean, their other son had already saved the wizarding world, so I'm probably not going to live up to that too much, but they were still happy, especially when I was sorted into Hufflepuff. They said there was no familial expectation to go into Gryffindor, and that Hufflepuff may have got themselves one of the bravest and best wizards the wizarding world has ever seen. Who knows? Who knows? And my ex said I'd always be a squib, Ginny Weasley. It was a bit out of character for her, but she said, you'll never be a wizard or a witch. And that's actually why we broke up. She was being very insensitive about it. She actually left me for my brother, which I wasn't thrilled about, but my best friend, Wormtail, was there for me a lot during it. He actually helped me get revenge on my brother by sort of, taking his blood and helping resurrect the Dark Lord who, subsequently, or ironically had killed my parents already. Questioning his decision-making a little bit. Not sure why he thought that was a good call, but, it had the best intentions. But now at Hogwarts, I'm in Hufflepuff, and I am smitten with Hagrid. Hi, Lord Voldemort. Yeah, I'd like to audition to become a Death Eater, please. I think you'd like me. I went to Hogwarts. I was in Hufflepuff. I know it's not Slytherin, but I promise I come from good blood. My mum is, Dad is, he's a squib. But my other parent is, is a fraudulent, divination teacher, but she did give you the warning about Harry Potter, which ultimately led to you losing your powers. But my ex, I broke up with because he was a werewolf. So our ideologies align. Lord Voldemort, my Dark Lord. I don't think I'm supposed to say your name. But basically I'm here because my best friend, Professor McGonagall, suggested I join the Order of the Phoenix, and I thought I would never do that. Just don't you know me at all, best friend McGonagall? So I left, and I've decided instead to come here to be close to the love of my life, Lucius Malfoy, and serve you, because I think that's the kind of person he'd want. Look at this, a first year. Welcome to Hogwarts, kid. Welcome, I'm your Prefect of Slytherin. Nice to see you. You will probably recognise me as the child of Molly Weasley. Exclusively. I was an immaculate conception. Some people say I'm the wizarding Jesus, but I'll let you be the judge of that. My ex, Dean Thomas, used to say I was just like Jesus, if you catch my drift, but he put me on a pedestal, so we broke up. Although I am Slytherin, you'd think I'd like that. Never mind. My best friend, Quirrell, is dead, so I'm looking for a new one, if you're looking for a friend as well. But mostly most of my energy is going into my crush on, that ghost in the girls' bathroom. You might not have seen her yet. She cries a lot. Oh yes, obviously I'm going to Slughorn's Christmas party. Slughorn actually told me I was the greatest Hufflepuff Hogwarts had ever produced. I'm not sure I agree, but Horace and I, we go way back. He knows my parents, he knew Mum, Narcissa, he knew her really well. Yeah, they got over. He actually introduced her to my other mum, Bellatrix. They were related, so I don't know how they got introduced by Slughorn. Maybe they just hadn't crossed paths yet, but yeah. But anyway, I'll be going to Slughorn's Christmas party. I do hope my ex, Sirius Black, isn't there. The family don't like him. I don't like him. It was a rebellious phase, that's why we started going out, actually. But my BFF, Mumsy, Narcissa, she talked me around. She said, don't go out with Sirius. The family will disown you. And I thought, right you are. Well, it's fine, because I've started developing feelings for Cedric Diggory anyway. He's in my house. And she said, well, careful, he might die soon. What are you talking about, Mum? And then he did. Lord Voldemort, I was just hoping you'd make me a Death Eater. I think I'd be really helpful to the team, you know. I'm a Slytherin. Love Salazar, your old ancestor. Love the Pride, love the dungeons, love Snape. Just like you know. My father is Hagrid. Now, I don't like what he stands for, but that does make me 1/4 giant, which means that stunning spells often don't affect me. Think of how helpful that would be in your ranks. And my other father is Professor Quirrell, who you sort of used and then left for dead. So there is a sort of moral obligation for you to take me under your wing. We won't focus on that too much. I am still a bit of an emotional state after breaking up with my ex-boyfriend, Seamus. He kept trying to turn water into rum, and I thought, there's a problem developing here, Seamus. Is there something we need to talk about? And he wouldn't talk about it, so we broke up. My best friend was great getting me through it. Ginny, she was really, really helpful. I know you think she's a blood traitor, but honestly, if we can turn her, excellent witch, brilliant bat bogey curse, would be very helpful if we had to fight any other teenagers. Currently, I have a crush on Cedric, who, you did have him killed. I won't hold that against you, although I am still hurting. I'm in my 20s, but I finally got my Hogwarts acceptance letter. My mum, Professor McGonagall, was so excited for me. She was like, better late than never, she said. And I thought, Professor McGonagall, you're absolutely right. My dad, Argus Filch, was a bit upset. He thought I was going to be a squib like him. But honestly, he said the most magical thing he ever did was convince Professor McGonagall to sleep with him. So we don't have too great of a relationship after he sort of put all of that squib pressure on me. But there I was, sorted into Hufflepuff. Mum wanted me in her house, but she said there's no shame in Hufflepuff. Lots of great wizards were in Hufflepuff, she said. Couldn't really name many. The best one was Cedric Diggory, and he sort of died when he was like 15. My ex, Madam Hooch, happens to be at Hogwarts, only one day a year when she teaches first years to fly. But that day for me was awkward. There I was, stood among a bunch of 11-year-olds in my 20s, and my ex is teaching me how to fly, and I don't know how to do it. I thought I was a squib. The whole thing was awkward. But my best friend, Hagrid, helped convince me it wasn't that bad. We had a cup of tea. I tried one of his rock cakes. Not good. We looked after some flobberworms, and he was telling me, don't you worry, Brett, everything's going to be fine when you focus your attention on your new crush, Remus Lupin. And I thought, okay, it might be inappropriate that he's a member of staff, but we are age appropriate because I'm just a late starter here at Hogwarts. And some people tell me certain nights he can be a real animal. Hey, didn't you go to Hogwarts? I thought I recognised you. Yeah, it's Brett from Ravenclaw, remember? Yes, exactly. My mum was Hagrid, and my dad was Voldemort. Yeah, weird couple. But they didn't spend very long together. Speaking of which, I didn't spend very long with my ex, Severus Snape. I feel like I was a rebound. He kept talking about Lily when he was sleeping, and I was just like, oh, that's not a good sign. So, we broke up. It was a tough time, but my best friend, Harry Potter, really helped me get through it. We had a complex friendship, Harry and I. He didn't really like my ex for a long time, didn't like one of my parents, but really liked the other. The whole thing was complex. But speaking of complex, I'm in love with Madam Hooch. I just find it really hard to spend time with her, though, because she teaches one lesson a year and then she seems to be gone. Just, Madam Hooch, spend time with us. My whole childhood thinking I was a muggle, but it turns out my father is Voldemort. I understand why that was shielded from me, and they sent me off to be raised by muggles. Also, my mum is Lily Potter. Yeah, the reason Voldemort killed her, apparently, is because he found out about the affair she was having. Anyway, I was eventually told about my true wizarding heritage. I went to Hogwarts and I was put in Gryffindor. Clearly, I get more from my mother than from my father, which is good news all round, really. I spent some time dating Molly Weasley for a little while. She gave me the homely feeling I'd never really had growing up. But ultimately, it was more comfort than it was love. So, we went our separate ways. I spent a lot of time with my best friend, Mad Eye Moody. He makes me feel safe when I'm worried that my father is going to come back and claim me and try and raise me as his son. But now I'm putting most of my effort into trying to convince Lucius to go out with me. Voldemort, please Please make me a Death Eater. You won't regret it. Honestly, I'm a Hufflepuff. That means, you know, not your favourite house, but I'll make all the teas and coffees. I'll make cakes. I'll bring baking in. My dad, Hagrid, taught me his best baking. You will love the homemade rock cake recipe that I've brought. To die for. And my other dad, Wormtail, tells me he's one of your loyalist servants. So why would you not want me here? My ex, Professor Quirrell, just stopped talking to me one day. He said he had this big plan that he had to figure out, and then we could run off together, and then just never spoke to me again. It was sort of like towards the end of the school year. Yeah, just never saw him again. It was weird. Anyway, I'm processing that grief. My best friend, Remus Lupin, is helping me process it. There's been some conflict between, like, my dad, Wormtail, and my best friend, Lupin. It was quite awkward, but mostly I'm focusing on my love for Mad-Eye Moody. So long as he doesn't die in that, you know, that plan where you're going to go and get Harry Potter from Privet Drive, so long as Mad-Eye doesn't die, I'll be happy. I'm sure he won't. Because I love him. Anyway, what do you say? Can I be a Death Eater, please? Of course I went to Hogwarts. Do I look like a muggle to you? Yeah. I was like the most beloved member of Hufflepuff House the whole time I was there. Yeah. Mum, or rather Dad, Peter Pettigrew. He was sort of a rat, so I don't... Mum, Dad, rat, pet, they're all the sort of same. Anyway, he didn't really care what house I was in. He was too busy living with the Weasleys, pretending he was murdered. So yeah, didn't have a huge part in my life, whereas my mum, Bellatrix, spent most of my childhood in Azkaban. In fact, all of my childhood, really. So I sort of grew up almost as an orphan, except both of my parents were alive. They were just absent. Gave me a lot of issues going into my relationship with Draco. He thought he had big parent issues, and I put him in my place. I said, "You think you've got parent issues, mate? What about mine?" Anyway, I recognise it was probably quite toxic for me to compare and weigh up trauma against each other. So we split up. My best friend, Dolores Umbridge, helped me through it a lot. She put me in the Inquisitorial squad. She told me, "Don't worry about the people around you. Focus on power. Focus on ambition." And I was thinking, I'm a Hufflepuff. I should be caring about people more than those things. Anyway, I developed a crush on a muggle named Dudley Dursley. He sort of embodied everything everyone around me stood for. He was a bully, he was horrible to people, and I thought, it's my kind of guy. My kind of guy. Look at this first year here. Welcome to Hogwarts. I'm the prefect of your new house, which is Hufflepuff. Ignore the robes, mine got ruined during Quidditch practice, so I had to throw on the spares. But I am the Hufflepuff Prefect. Welcome to your new house. You might recognise me as Voldemort's son. Yes, we don't like to talk about that too much. He disowned me once I was sorted into Hufflepuff. I'm largely closer to my father, James Potter, or at least I was before he died. We also don't like to talk about that too much, but that's got nothing to do with your stay here at Hogwarts. You may have heard gossip that I used to go out with Molly Weasley. The gossip largely centred around the inappropriate age difference between the two of us, so it didn't last very long. My best friend talked me out of that relationship, Seamus Finnegan. He said, "I have rabbit harpstring hum. Don't date a woman old enough to be your mum." And, how can you argue against that logic? So now I'm focusing most of my energies on my love for Gilderoy Lockhart. I know people say he's a fraud. I just think give him a chance. Let him prove himself. So anyway, welcome to Hogwarts. Voldemort. Sir, I'm a huge fan. Honestly, I would love to be a Death Eater. My history as a Hufflepuff doesn't bode well. I think the last Hufflepuff you encountered, you told Wormtail to kill him. But no, wait, we don't need to get Wormtail yet. I promise I can make it up to you, okay? Let me tell you about my family history. Madam Hooch, you can fly. She teaches people how to fly. I feel like that bodes well. And my other parent is even better. It's Molly Weasley. And you might be thinking, Weasley's a blood traitor. Well, she did. Remember, she killed your best lieutenant, Bellatrix Lestrange. And I've inherited some of that cold-hearted dueling ability. So, just give me a second. Now, I know we have a bit of a spotty history. My Dark Lord. I wonder when this would come up. We did date for a while, I remember. And then, but you went off travelling to, make these Horcruxes, to descend deeper into the dark arts than any wizard of the past. So, we went our separate ways, but it doesn't mean there's not still love there. Not that you know how to love. There's not, but there's this sort of mutual respect. Ultimately, I feel like you needed something from me, and I'm hoping you still do. My best friend told me to let go of it, Lily. She told me, let go of it, he's a murderer, and he's probably going to kill me. And I said, Lily, you're overreacting. And then you did. And I'm going to be honest, that also played a part when we broke up. I don't have that crush on you anymore. I have it on your sworn enemy. I love the man who is trying to kill you and whom you want to kill. But I still think I'd be a good Death Eater. Has anything I've said been redeeming at all? You're going to kill me, aren't you? Did you go to Hogwarts? I knew I recognised you. Yeah, it's Brett. From the, from Hufflepuff? Oh, no, I can see why you wouldn't remember me. My father was Lord Voldemort, and my mother was Molly Weasley. It was as you can imagine, I had a complicated time at home, so I spent most of the holidays in Hogwarts. You went home a lot, so that's probably why I don't remember. I did have a bit of a, romantic history with my own father, Voldemort. Weirdly, not the worst crime he committed. It's strange that you don't remember me, given how my story is. My best friend was Dudley, that muggle cousin of Harry Potter's. We would hang out from time to time. He was back in Surrey, and that's where I stayed when I wasn't trying to rekindle my relationship with my parents. Not that relation, the parental relationship, not the ex relationship. Anyway, I'm in love with Bill Weasley, which is also weird because he's my half brother on my mother's side. You know what? You go ahead. Doesn't matter. I didn't need anything anyway. Pretend you didn't run into me. Lord Voldemort, please, just a moment. I think I'd make a great Death Eater. Let me tell you about myself before you decide otherwise. I'm a Ravenclaw. I'm smart, intelligent, creative. Think of all the plans I can come up with to murder teenagers. You'll love them. Also, you're my father. Sort of the main reason I'm here, if I'm honest. I want to carry on the family business. You're my father. I don't know if you remember that night you had with Narcissa. I'm not sure if you've told Lucius either, but I came about after that. My ex is Argus Filch. After finding out that my real father left, didn't raise me, was the Dark Lord, has no nose. I went through an identity crisis, latched onto a squib. It was a whole thing. I'm so sorry. It means nothing, honestly. My best friend, Ginny Weasley, talked me out of it. And I know what you're thinking. Best friend, blood traitor, a Weasley. I've been through a lot. My father is you. Come on, you understand. But now all I'm thinking about is my love for Dean Thomas, who is a Muggle-born. Yes. I've got some complex feelings to work through. I just want a relationship with you. Honestly, please help.